I've been in Taiwan all of this past week, got in late last night, and I've been there for some business meetings, but I was reminded of why I am so fond of the tiny little island officially called the Republic of China. I've been traveling there regularly for the past 30 years. It's a vibrant nation of true freedom and innovation and economic power. The much larger mainland China calls itself the People's Republic of China. But the communist government there is anything but friendly to the people. The Communist Chinese Party that runs mainland China with an iron fist is a global predator that robbed America of jobs and has cheated its way to trade domination, particularly in manufacturing many of the things that we depend on here in the U.S. A lot of U.S.-based companies have sold their soul to the Communist Chinese for the sake of profit, but often at the expense of human rights and national security. The communists, they don't have a problem with exploiting child labor in what virtually amounts to slave labor, making shoes or clothes, electronics, toys, and even the pharmaceuticals that we're prescribed here in the U.S. It's more likely than not that they knew that the real source of COVID was in their own Wuhan lab, but they pretended it came from some bats in the local wet market. Right. Sadly, U.S. officials like Dr. Anthony Fauci and Dr. Francis Collins of the National Health Institute likely knew that as well. But they joined in the deception so it wouldn't expose that they participated in helping fund gain-of-function research with your tax dollars. Well, here's a piece of great news. Recently, in a very rare, nonpartisan, and unanimous vote, that almost never happens, Congress voted to open an investigation into the origin of COVID to get some honest answers. Hey, good that they're doing it. Too late for the millions who died or for the students whose lives and futures were irreparably harmed by the forced lockdowns and isolation, but important nonetheless. I'm personally glad to get home before China tried to invade Taiwan, and I pray for the freedom-loving entrepreneurial people of Taiwan. Since many electric and electronic components and computer chips are made in that little island of Taiwan, we need to hope and pray that China doesn't seek to invade and take over Taiwan like Putin has done in Ukraine. And maybe seeing what a pariah Putin has become, China will decide that being a bully just isn't all it's cracked up to be. But President Biden is doing all he can to keep the Communist Chinese strong. And I can't help but wonder why. Is it because he's utterly compromised by his sons and brothers' business dealings there, in which he gets a cut of the multi-millions of profit, as indicated by information on the infamous Hunter Biden laptop? Since few U.S. reporters seem to be willing to chase that story, and of course the FBI is too busy harassing Donald Trump to look into it, Joe might get away without so much as a look-see. But already, Joe Biden's determination for us to go green will more likely put a lot of American businesses in the red. The Financial Times reports that China makes 96% of the wafers that go into solar panels, 75% of the world's batteries, and 83% of the blades for offshore windmills. Let that sink in. For the U.S. to go green, we've got to go red and get most of our products from the communists, which means that we are literally giving them the green money from our economy and putting America workers and companies in the financial and political red. We're going to be feeding their economy and destroying our own. And what's worse is that America is an energy-rich nation. And under President Trump, we became completely energy independent in 2018 for the first time in 75 years, resulting in plentiful and affordable energy in our homes and cars. China's got half the world's copper, 2/3 of all the known lithium reserves, and 75% of the world's cobalt, all of which is necessary to make the electric cars that Joe Biden and the green, I call them raw deal people, demand that we all buy. As a result of Joe Biden's energy policies, mining in China will have to jump to 20 times today's levels just to keep up with the demand for electric vehicle batteries, and a lot of that will be done by slaves and children. We seem determined to make the Chinese richer and Americans poor. But more importantly, will Americans be safer with this? No. But we may be more enslaved to China for our energy. It's past time that we start making stuff right here in the U.S. We need to employ and empower American workers, not underage children in China. And it's time that we wean ourselves off from products that are made in China and tell them to keep their slave labor-created items and their diseases like COVID to themselves once and for all. Hey, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Since you're still here, let me share something with you. If you click on the subscribe button below, hit that notification bell next to it, and click the like button, you know what that's going to do? Virtually guarantee that you don't turn into an AOC fanatic. Do it now, before it's too late.